Welcome guys, thank you so much for joining in. So today in this video we are actually going to look into price action of Bitcoin in a very different way, because right now what we are witnessing here with Bitcoin price action does looks in a very interesting area, because right now this price movement here in an upper direction is clearly flashing that since the price here has now broken out of this trend line, which has previously acted as a resistance, you can see here, right, all the way now. Since we have broken out of it, what kind of scenario could be playing out? Even though this daily candle does looks bullish, expect some more pullback or consolidation type of scenario before breaking the previous all-time high. I still believe that this price movement here is going to be more like in a consolidation phase, because I still expect the price here could consolidate or even see a pullback to the lower end area and then move in an upper direction in this manner. So unless this price here is not breaking the previous high structure of 42,000, we are still going to look this as a WYCKOFF's reaccumulation phase, because according to this WYCKOFF reaccumulation phase, if you look at this price structure, let me show you this one by one here. If this is going to play out as a WYCKOFF's reaccumulation phase, we have two different scenarios which we talked in my previous video. One with reaccumulation with spring action, another one was reaccumulation after shakeout. So if this is going to happen, then you can see we are seeing this bounce here in an upper direction towards the resistance line. So in another example, you can see after this consolidation phase, we are again seeing this move here in an upper direction towards the resistance line. So doesn't matter which scenario is going to play out, the price of Bitcoin could be actually heading towards this resistance line here to the upside. But as I've already said, you guys, expect more likely a move like this here, more likely a consolidation type of scenario before testing this upper line area. So this is very important. And after that, if we are going to see a bigger pullback, right, this is going to play as a WYCKOFF's reaccumulation with spring action. And if this is going to be more like a scenario like this here, guys, a consolidation phase around this area, then it is going to be more likely a move here after shakeout. So these two examples are what I will be focusing looking at this price action of Bitcoin, because I still believe that this price structure here, what we are witnessing, is in a reaccumulation phase. Because you can see here, after this really nice impulsive move, right, price did saw this consolidation phase. So this is going to be a longer term consolidation phase, because this is a range bound market. In range bound market tends to head in a sideways direction. And also guys, also if we look at this scenario which we talked in my yesterday's video, let me also show you this here. And now if you look at this in a 4-hour time frame, you can see guys, we did talk about this scenario here yesterday. I told you there are different type of scenarios unfolding right now for Bitcoin price action. I also showed you, I think, like 3 or 4 type of scenario. One was this descending triangle. With this example here, you can see this impulsive move, consolidation phase, and a impulsive move again to the upside. So this means just like here, impulsive move, consolidation phase, right? And now what we could see is another impulsive move. But for us, this impulsive move is going to be around this previous high structure, guys, because I just showed you with this WYCKOFF reaccumulation phase that this price movement here to the upside could be heading towards the resistance line. And only after a proper breakout or rejection, we are going to change our opinion, because until then, this is still a WYCKOFF's reaccumulation phase according to our analysis. And also, if you look at this scenario in a different way, I also included yesterday this scenario here known as this falling wedge, right? You can see we talked about this falling wedge as well, because I showed you similarly with this descending triangle, right? Just like with the descending triangle, more likely impulsive move, consolidation, and move in an upper direction. And I showed you this example here, if you remember properly. So as you can see right now, the price is doing exactly like what we were expecting. If this is going to be a descending broadening wedge or descending triangle, doesn't matter, our eyes are going to be around the top area here, which was the previous high structure around 41,000 to 42,000 price level. I just also want to include one bearish scenario that we should not forget, guys, because if you remember, I showed you guys this dead cross and golden cross scenario, right? And most of them will be like wondering what happened to the dead cross. I want to include this dead cross today as well, because you can see, if you remember properly, I also said you guys, this dead cross doesn't mean the price has to drop like around 30% or 20%, right? It could only be like 5% or 10%. And if you look at this dead cross here and look after this dead cross, the price here dropped almost like 10%, right? So this was also a price drop. But one thing to take into consideration, if we go to the previous example where we had this dead cross, right? For example, look at this. This was a golden cross, right? Price headed in upper direction. But if you look at this dead cross scenario, you can see here, this is a dead cross scenario here, exactly there. So you can see after this dead cross, price did headed in upper direction. But what followed after that? This massive price pullback, right? So now let's go backwards and look at another example here. You can see this here was a dead cross. You can see after this cross, we did have a small pullback, price headed in upper direction, and then a bigger correction occurred. So what I'm actually trying to say here is that right now we are seeing a similar price structure. After this dead cross, we are also witnessing a price movement, but you can see after this dead cross, most of the time a small pump was always actually expected, and after that a price correction, right? So if this scenario could also be playing out, so we have to be very careful at this current stage, because right now this dead cross is appearing, and after this dead cross we did that small pullback, price is heading in upper direction. So we have to be careful, because this could also be move here, just like with the previous examples. After this dead cross, an impulsive move and then a corrective move to the downside, guys. So these are some scenarios you should definitely take into consideration, and I've already said you guys, to the downside you can see this is here, the 29 to 27,000 is going to be one of the strongest support, and to the upside right now we could be heading towards this 41 to 42,000 price level, and people always expect price to go exactly like this here, right? So we might see some more consolidation phase before price reaches here to the upside, guys. We have to take that also into consideration, because when I say price could go to 42,000, they always expect a move like this, because you have to have some patience, guys. Market doesn't move always like this here, right? We could see some more pullback also, which could be acceptable before coming towards our target area here to the upside. So now let us also have a quick look at Ether price action. And now if we look at this Ether USD starting here in a 4-hour time frame, you can see this price structure here. We did talk about this scenario yesterday on my video. I told you guys the price of Ether could be following this ascending channel here in a 4-hour time frame, because I give you a very good example that this price movement here, all the tops here, right, they were clearly making higher highs, higher lows, continuation pattern, because this here from this top here to the downside, you can see this was the previous high, previous low, this here was the new high, new low, again new high. So I told you, even if you are going to see any sort of a correction around the lower line area, it is still going to make a new higher low, right? So if this is going to happen, because this is still a higher highs, higher lows continuation pattern. And I also said before coming to the lower line area, price could also see a move here like this, because I added this parallel channel in between. I told you guys, since inside this bigger ascending channel there were another smaller descending channel, so if we could break above this trend line, we could see a move in an upper direction before price coming to the lower end area. And this is exactly what we are witnessing right now with Ether, because you can see here, yesterday we did got a breakout, right? We had this pullback, and now this could be also a move slowly in an upper direction, because we also talk about this scenario here. If you remember properly, this here is also a price action in a 4-hour time frame. This trend line here, what you are witnessing, guys, those trend line are very important trend line, because they have acted as a very strong support and resistance. And right now if you look at this here, we approach the very important resistance line, right? So this resistance line was around 1350. Since we are above this resistance line, this temporary resistance line, we want this next candle, the 4-hour candle, to actually find proper support above this 1350 level. So if this is going to happen, then we would be seeing more like a consolidation phase and a move in an upper direction to our next target around 1440, because this is exactly what we also talked on my previous video. I told you guys, if we could find proper support over this 1350, then there is more likely a move in an upper direction waiting us ahead, because you can see this candle here was also able to come across this key level but was unable to close above this trend line. You can see this one here, for example, or this candle here, right? Rejection all the time in 4-hour time frame, but once we were able to find support over it, you can see this headed straight to the next target area. So right now what we want for Ether is to find proper support around this 1350, and if that's going to happen, then I will be looking towards the next target area, which is around 1440. So if this 4-hour candle or the next candle is going to close below it, then we should also be focusing at the lower end target area of 1250, and in a worst case I will also look around 1140 price level. But you can see, guys, the lower end area could still be a very strong support. You can see this is still a higher highs, higher lows continuation pattern. So if this is going to come to the downside, this is going to be a great buying opportunity, guys. So this target here to the downside around this 1045 or this 1150, 1140 could be a great buying opportunity. And also what I'm actually going to show you is this Ether Bitcoin chart. And if we look at this Ether Bitcoin chart right now in a weekly time frame, guys, this price movement here, right, you can see this pullback, what we are witnessing with this Ether Bitcoin chart, that is absolutely normal. And why is this absolutely normal? Because if you monitor this price movement forget this number, just look at this alphabets here, right? This here is an ascending broadening wedge. But right now, if you look at this price structure here, right, and monitor this one here, this is playing out exactly like this particular example from this ascending broadening wedge, guys, because you can see A, B, C, D, E, F, right? And now this move here, impulsive move to the upside, and look at this after this F, this impulsive move to the upside. Where did it found rejection? Or what usually happens is that price found rejection at the upper line area of this ascending broadening wedge. And if you look at this here and look in our case, if I make it a bit longer, you can see exactly there at this upper line area, we are facing some resistance. You can see just like here, and this pullback here, when is it going to give us a confirmation to buy? Or this pullback is showing us that, hey, now this Ether Bitcoin chart could be turning very bullish when we retest the point E level from where we measure the target here to the upside. Because usually in this ascending broadening wedge, the target is measured from this point E till this point B area, or you can call this from point B to point E area. So if we do the same, right, if we do the same, we are also going to measure the target here. So for that, if we take from this point B area, right, if we go to the upside until this point E area, you can see here exactly today, right? So what we need to do now is we need to measure the length. So let me add this one here. So if this here, right, exactly at this point E area. So now look at this. Exactly at this point E area, we have drawn a horizontal line here, right? Horizontal line at this point E area, because this target here must be measured from the exact place from point E to the upside. And you can see this is our target here, which is going to be around 0.055 level, or it's going to be around 0.056 level. So guys, you can see this here right now, this rejection, what we are witnessing, right? This pullback here is absolutely normal, because we are now finding support at this point E area, right? So you can see, according to this example, we are getting a confirmation if this is going to find support at this point E area. So right now you can see we are holding our ground around this point E level, which is 0.03 level. So now if we could consolidate around this area, then we are still very, very fine, because after that there could be a move like this here, exactly just like with this ascending broadening wedge scenario. So right now, maybe the Ether Bitcoin price doesn't look that bullish, but for me, this is still a very, very bullish scenario, even though we are seeing some sort of a rejection or pullback type of scenario at this current stage. So guys, these are some examples I thought sharing with you in today's video. So if you enjoyed it, if you like my work, hit the like button, and also if you're watching this for the first time, definitely hit the subscribe button and the bell. So by saying this, I'm signing out. My name is Anup. Bye bye guys.